Coming up in today's video, my top 5 winter biohacks. Hey everybody, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, here helping you become your superhuman self. And if you're in the northern hemisphere, then winter is approaching us, or at least autumn. The nights are drawing in a little bit sooner than we want and lasting a little bit longer than we want. And I, for one, always find winter quite challenging. So I want to share with you my top 5 biohacks, if you like, for beating the winter blues and staying vital, energized and superhuman this winter. The first thing that I'd like to share with you is something that I've shared with you before, and that is in one of my favorite things of the month videos way back when, but it's actually using blue light blocking glasses. I personally use blue light blocking glasses year round. Really useful in the summer as well because we have those long nights, but the reason they're useful in the winter is because we start putting the lights on and then we put them on at like 4 o'clock in the evening and we don't really recognize when it's time that we should be going to bed because the daylight is so short. So what I suggest and what I personally do is put your blue light blocking glasses on like 2, 3, sometimes even 4 hours before bed depending. But let's say I'm going to bed around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, then I'll probably likely put my blue light blocking glasses on around 7 p.m. Now, if I'm at home, I wear one type of glasses. If I'm going out, often I might wear a little bit more socially acceptable looking glasses, which don't look totally crazy. So my advice is you can get some really expensive blue light blocking glasses, and there's big companies selling lots of things about that. But my experience is the cheaper ones also work pretty well as well. So get whatever your budget allows and whatever you feel is stylish enough. But I do recommend some blue light blocking glasses. And why? Well, because these are going to help you produce the melatonin in your body at the right time to allow you to get to sleep easier. So it's a sleep hack for sure, but we need to make sure that we get decent sleep in the winter, probably more than the rest of the year, because actually there's a lot of strain and stress on our body with temperatures changing, light changing, all of this. So we want to really capitalize on our sleep. The next thing, number 2 on the list that I've been using for about 4 years now, maybe even 5 or 6 years, is a daylight alarm clock. So I get one from a company called Lumi. I've got no affiliation with them, but they provide a daylight alarm clock. Effectively, what that does is the one I've got, which is the cheapest version, probably the only one you really need, and it gives you a half an hour window where it gradually starts to get lighter and lighter. So it wakes your body up gradually rather than in this shock where your alarm goes off, the light gets turned on. We want to wake up with as natural a sunrise mimic as possible. Of course, if you're getting up before sunrise, which when it comes to winter time, if you're getting up any time before 9 o'clock, you're getting up before sunrise. You want to really mimic that, and for me it's quite challenging getting up in the morning during the winter, and I find that the daylight alarm clock really wakes me up. I have to set it so that if I want to get up at 6, I set it for say 6:25 because it starts to get light at 5 to 6 and I'm super sensitive to the light, so within 5 minutes of it starting I'm going to wake up. You will have to adjust and play around with it over several days and weeks to see when is the right time for it to be set so that you can gradually wake up with that daylight. And number 3 on the list, sticking with light. We have such a limited amount of light in the winter, and especially if you work in an office environment, often you're not going to see much daylight. Even if you're by a window and you happen to be a lucky person who's got his desk by the window or her desk by the window, you probably may not even have time to go out for even 20 minutes at lunchtime a lot of the time, at least in my experience. Of course, you want as much natural daylight in the day as possible, but also in the morning. That's not always possible, certainly not always possible for me. So I use another device, an SAD lamp, a seasonal affective disorder lamp, which pumps out about 10,000 lux of energy or light to my eyes. And I do that whilst I'm getting ready in the morning, typically while I'm doing some of my morning routine. And I'll have that light on for as long as possible really, so that I'm getting that light into my eyes. Of course, natural sunlight is best if you can get that, but most of the time we can't get that. And for, it's a reasonable investment, around £100 or so, I think it was £120, which I managed to coerce my sisters into getting me for my birthday a few years ago. Really has been a game changer for me. When we get that natural light in the morning, or at least an artificial bright light, it wakens us up, it gives us a boost of that cortisol, which we do need in the morning to get us going, and also resets our circadian rhythm so that we can sleep better at night. So I really recommend, especially if you feel a little bit low in the winter, get one of these lamps. You can use it throughout the day up until maybe I'd say 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe a bit earlier actually, and then you want to start to wind down a little bit. I personally just tend to use it when I'm getting ready in the morning, and maybe up until about 11 or 12 o'clock in the really dark winter nights, and winter mornings I should say. They feel like nights, that's why I said nights. Fourth thing I'd like to say is something again I use year round. I bang on about it, and that is a magnesium spray. Okay, I know some people may take magnesium supplements. They tend not to be that great on the bowel for a lot of people, and they don't get absorbed as well. You want magnesium topically, whether that's taking magnesium salt baths or Epsom salt baths also called, or for me, I don't take that many baths, so I use a spray every night. Few sprays on my chest, under the armpits, maybe around my neck, any place that maybe has been worked out, like maybe your legs or something like that. That's going to help muscle relax you, but also get much needed magnesium into your system. We're mostly deficient in magnesium because the soil has been depleted of this rich mineral. It's like an anti-stress mineral. And so when we get stressed and when we're kind of buffering all that stress, we're using up all the magnesium, which isn't really in the vegetables anymore. So we do need to supplement. Estimates range how many people are deficient. I've heard anything from like 60-70% of the population all the way up to 95% of the population. The reality is, if you're not currently supplementing with magnesium, there's a huge chance that you're deficient in it. It will help your sleep, it will help your recovery, it will help your immune system, it will help just about everything. In fact, there's around 325 currently known bioenzymatic reactions that are dependent on magnesium to work. What does that mean? It means that your body relies on magnesium in the right quantity to do over 300 different things. And if you don't have that, then either it's not getting done, those things, or they're not being done optimally. So definitely one supplement I recommend to everyone is magnesium spray, and put that on before you go to bed. And the last thing, my fifth hack, is really all about timing. Okay, when we should be living in natural rhythm with nature. This is really my whole health philosophy, is how can we live natural lives in an unnatural environment, okay? Such as having an SAD lamp is an unnatural solution, I guess, or trying to mimic nature by being outside. So my fifth tip is really about getting to bed earlier, and if you can, wake up later, okay? We tend to need to sleep a little bit more in the winter. We're like hibernating creatures. We should be getting up with the sun and going to bed with the sun. That's not obviously gonna happen in a lot of cultures where it doesn't get sunny till 9, if at all, and then it's dark by 3 o'clock. But there's no shame in actually bringing your bedtime in earlier, even if you can't bring your wake up time later. But it might be that you don't have to do the same thing all year round. It's not like you're going to be sleeping the same all year round, because in the summer we may need less sleep, or we're able to sleep less and we have less body fat. In the winter we need more body fat and we want to sleep a little bit more, and maybe our workout might change a little bit. So we need to be flexible and adaptable to the environment around us and not be so rigid 12 months of the year doing the same thing. Okay, so there are my 5 tips. That is to get some blue light blocking glasses and put those on a few hours before bed. Perhaps buy a daylight alarm clock. Then also maybe an SAD lamp, which is a super bright lamp to help you. Then we want to use magnesium before going to bed, whether that's as a bath or a spray. And then finally, maybe adjust the timings of when we're going to bed to go to bed a little bit earlier, maybe wake up a little bit later. They're my top 5 biohacks for getting through the autumn and the winter, seeing us safely through to spring. There are many more, I'm sure. You can post a few down below. Would love to hear from you. Until next time, remember to share and like this video, as well as hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel. And until I see you next time, stay strong, stay super. Bye-bye.